Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day and you've had your vitamin C. Make sure. Coffee. Right after your vitamin W. Water. Brahim, how are you, buddy? Michael, Brahim's in Detroit, I think. Still. John, Elgin, Illinois. Yep, Brahim says he's still in the Motown. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Appreciate you coming on. We love you guys. Evangeline from Cape Breton. And Niagara Falls, who was that? Sandy, how are you? Betty Lynn, Brantford. Marlene, good morning. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Was that Andrea from Niagara Falls? Francis Marie. And hello, Kevin, Oshawa. Good morning, Kev. Donna, how are you? Nellie, how are you? Deb from Timmins. And Heather Miramichi. Rosa. Tammy, how are you from Sturgeon? Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Crystal. And Diane Thunder Bay, good morning. Louise, bonjour. Jeanette from our staff, good morning. Midiel, how are you? Dorothy, PEI. Deb from Motown. And Bonnie, good morning. Sue, Bolton. Nick from our staff. Judy, New Brunswick. Lorraine, Oshawa. Wendy, Markham. Sharon, good morning. Marianne in London. And Sylvie in Ottawa. Diane, Ottawa. And Donna from Bell Valley, good morning. Thea, how are you? Sherry, Sherry, I want to sing from Mississauga. Madeleine from Kippawa, Quebec. Fran from Orangeville, good morning. Donna, these Donnas we love. Lori Lee, Ventura, California, good morning. Cynthia from Chelmsford in my backyard. Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Kristen from Saskatchewan. Edith, good morning. Tina. Lori, how are you? Cambridge. Sandra. And Jean, good morning. And Serpa, how are you? Mo, Mississauga. And Carmel, Newfoundland. Yvonne, PEI. Guys, we appreciate. Hi, Sue. And Rafaela from Romania. Bonnie, Little Britain. Sylvie, Sturgeon Falls. And Monica from Manitoba. Doreen, Australia. Man, oh man, you guys. Cheryl, West Virginia. Sandy, Minnesota. Rosalinda. Yeah, you went up into the clouds, Rosalinda. Sorry. I didn't see that last name. Samuel. Lise, how are you? And Marilyn, PEI. Okay, guys, let's get going. Sandy said she didn't get a notification. Judy, Manitoba, and Lorna from Calgary. Thanks for saying hello, guys. Luella, West Tennessee. I'm going to say hi to Dr. McEwen because she's usually on. Denise and Gertie, how are you guys? Rebecca, Calendar, how are you? Lori, Alberta. Guys, Sonia, I could go on all day and just keep saying hello. Etta. Okay, now, I want to talk about two studies this morning, okay? One of them is, okay, headline, egg consumption can lower the risk of depression. Egg consumption can lower the risk of depression. Now, If I was to give you guys a little quiz, okay, what would be the food science behind eating eggs and possibly lowering your risk of depression? There's a real connection, we know, okay? I know you guys know this. There's a real connection between leaky gut and depression, right? You make more serotonin in your gut than you make in your brain. So we know that. There's a real connection. Leaky gut, leaky brain, depression, okay? But what in eggs would help you? Gertie's saying microbiomes. It would feed the microbiome, absolutely. I'm looking for something a little different than that. But let's see. I'm giving you guys a test. What is it in an egg? Kathy's saying B12. I love you, Kathy. Ron is saying choline. You're absolutely right. The neurotransmitters depend, Gertie is saying, yep. But I'm looking for something to feed them. Selenium, choline, Lori Lee, B12. Anything else? You guys are so stinking smart, I can't get over it. Ronaldo. Vitamin D. Oh, John. Jeanette, choline, cholesterol. And Doc McEwen is saying hello to me. Cholesterol, Tammy says. Protein, Deb says. I love you guys. Christina, selenium. I know. B12, Wanda. You guys, I'm telling you. Cholesterol, Brahim. Good fats. Yep. You guys have got it. You got it. Tammy, you got it. Everybody's got it. Eric, how are you? And Sarona is saying hi from Australia. Sue, cholesterol. Okay, guys, here's the answer, and you're all right. There wasn't one bad answer in there. What is it in an egg that would help with depression? Okay, what was I looking for? The complete nutrient profile of an egg helps the brain big time. Cholesterol, yep. B12, the brain vitamin, yes. Choline, absolutely. Choline is so important for acetylcholine, which helps the neurotransmitters in the brain. Absolutely. Gertie was right when she talked about eggs and the neurotransmitters and important in the gut of the microbiome. By the way, you got a microbiome in your brain too. Okay? Protein, big time. All your B vitamins, they're in an egg. They're in an egg. How in the world would anybody tell you to limit eggs? How in the world? Remember Confusion, our Confusion series? Don't be confused by someone, any physician, any dietitian, any guru that would tell someone to limit their eggs. They have no idea what they're talking about. Because they're thinking cholesterol. And they get that all wrong. Eggs, a perfect food. Perfect. Full of cholesterol. Hallelujah. Full of B vitamins. Hallelujah. It's got the 5 C's. Okay? I'm big on 5 C's. That's why I want you to eat meat. That's why I want you to eat eggs. That's why I want you on dairy, the right dairy. The 5 C's. Not found in the plant kingdom. Choline, we just talked about it. Choline. Brain. Choline. Right? Creatine. Why is that important? Well, creatine is one of the most studied nutrients. It's found in the animal kingdom. It's good for your muscle. It's good for your brain. It's good for your memory. Creatine. Right? Carnosine. Carnitine. And CoQ10. It drives me crazy, guys. When you think of your battery packs, your mitochondria in your cell, you got more mitochondria up here because your brain is an energy center. And depression is often associated with a lack of ATP, not giving out enough energy out of the brain. The brain is into a fog. And one of the factors is CoQ10. Your mitochondria rely on CoQ10. Okay? That is so important, guys. So when someone tells you to avoid the animal kingdom, they really don't know what they're talking about. You can't, guys, seriously. Look, for those who think they can live on the plant kingdom, I know they mean well. I know they do. They think they're right. But it's not based on science. It really isn't. It's not based on nutrient profile. It can't be. First of all, there's no cholesterol. We could talk about 6 C's. Cholesterol. Choline. Carnosine. Carnitine. Creatine. CoQ10. I should call it the 6 C's. I've always called it in my head the 5 C's. You need that, guys. Your brain needs it. Your heart, by the way, is a muscle. If you didn't know that. Okay? It's a muscle. And the world out there, the world of medicine wants to put most people on a statin drug because they're scared skinny of cholesterol. They've been duped. One thing we know about statins, and everybody agrees on this, there's no exception. I haven't read anywhere where they would say, oh no, there's an exception to this. If you take a statin drug to lower your cholesterol, Lipitor, Zocor, Crestor, you name it, okay? You are destroying your CoQ10. And you'll see advertisements if you watch any American TV or whatever. You'll see advertisements for CoQ10. And they all say one thing. If you're on a statin drug, you really need CoQ10. Okay? So they admit it. One of the side effects and you got battery packs in your heart muscle, a lot of them, mitochondria. And your mitochondria rely on CoQ10, amongst other things. It gives me a migraine, guys, when I think of it. And there are millions of people out there that are taking a statin drug, and they're not taking CoQ10. I can't get over that. There isn't a pharmacist. I don't get mad. I get mad at doctors, but they know nothing about nutrition. But what really bugs me is if a pharmacist fulfills a prescription for a statin drug and doesn't recommend to that customer or client to take CoQ10 with it. That is malpractice. They know that. A pharmacist knows that. But they're so uptight about a natural product. They're so uptight. I was reading yesterday somewhere. I'll go off on one little rabbit trail, and I promise I'm coming back. No, but somebody sent me something on turmeric, okay? You know, that beautiful yellow spice. And they said, man, oh man, that can be dangerous. Well, if it were dangerous, everybody in India would be dead. Like, are you kidding me? Now, curcumin is much more absorbed than turmeric. Curcumin is an extract of turmeric, okay? But to say, oh, turmeric, it's so dangerous, everybody would be dead. It's so silly, I can't get over it. They worry about, they worry about, oh, you can have too much turmeric and it'll kill you. And they don't care, or it doesn't seem to bother them about the side effects of statin drugs. Guys, you want to have low cholesterol? Your brain's made up of it. You're asking not only to die young, but your memory is going to go away. And this is so well known, I just don't know what else to say. If you're on a statin drug and you ain't taking CoQ10, I feel sorry for people. They don't know. They don't know. Drives me mental. Okay, now back to the study on eggs. Perfect food. Perfect food. So is steak. Perfect food. Got everything you need, including vitamin K2, by the way. How many eggs, Doc, can I eat? I don't know. How many do you like? 100? Okay. Look, when you eat an egg, and this is proven, I've said it many a time, you have eggs in the morning, one thing it fills you up. It ain't cereal. It ain't a muffin or a bagel full of protein, full of fat, very low carb, all the B vitamins, B12, choline, carnitine, carnosine, creatine, CoQ10. You need those. They ain't found in the animal kingdom. Plant kingdom. They're just not there. So how How can that be the best food? It isn't. I'm not saying it's no good. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you, the animal kingdom is superior. Okay. Egg consumption lowers risk of depression. Oh boy, it's so important to eat properly. Okay. Now, here's another one. This is another study that came out that fascinated me on the thyroid. Okay? The thyroid. The thyroid, okay, we do a lot of teaching on the thyroid. We talk about it all the time. That the thyroid is a puppet. Lots of strings attached. Okay? Now, I want to bring you this study. Very, very interesting. Okay? Now, here's what they've shown. If you have hypothyroidism, a sluggish thyroid, okay? Ladies, I'm talking to you. A sluggish thyroid. You're looking at your husband and he's losing weight and you're not. And it bugs you. Right? You're doing the reset and he's losing more weight than you. And you want to kill him. I heard that a lot of times in my practice days. The husband was in trouble because he was losing weight. Okay? Now, back to hypothyroid. Okay? Now, here's a couple of bullets. One, the thyroid and the numbers can be very deceiving. Okay? And the point is that medicine has been hijacked by the labs. What do I mean by that? They only rely on the lab. Oh, your thyroid is in normal limits. Everything is working well. How do I know that? Says the physician. Well, your numbers. Where, when you're in functional medicine, numbers are, I like looking at numbers. I really do. But I don't rely on them when it comes to the thyroid. In my practice, I relied on one, my eyeballs. Observation. I used to, I remember a lady said, "You're in my space." She didn't like it. I was looking at her. And I guess I was fairly close to her, and she didn't like it. I said, "Hey, too bad, so sad. This is my place. You're in my office. And I'm looking at you. And I see that your eyebrows are thinning. I see that your hair is thinning. I see that, and I never said the word porky, but you're a little porky. You know what that tells me, ma'am? Your thyroid's not working properly." And then she liked me because I said something that's what she thought, but her doctor, her specialist, told her that her thyroid was normal. I said, "No, it's not. It's sluggish. Not working properly. I know that." I can see it. And then I did a very specific thyroid test that was different. And I was right. I was right. And the thyroid, okay, so that's important. My dad said this about the thyroid. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay? If your eyebrows are thinning and you're having difficulty losing weight and you just look at food and you gain weight and your hair perhaps is thinning out and you're a female, okay? Like men, we got thyroids. I got a thyroid. But I ain't complicated. Men aren't complicated. You know why? Because we don't have ovaries. Ovaries complicate the thyroid. And not only that, because I haven't even told you about this study yet. Okay, now let me get an illustration out, okay? And this is for my viewers who are live, okay? Viewers who are live. But for those who are listening on a podcast, I want you to look at in your mind, okay? What I'm showing my audience here is 5 pounds of fat. Look at it. Oh, doc, I only lost 5 pounds. I said, look what you lost in my office. You lost 5 pounds. It is, okay, I'm showing 5 pounds. It's a foot long and 6 inches thick of yellow blob. I only lost 5 pounds. I'm mad. I've had people come into my office and they're angry. I only lost 5 pounds. Dr. Martin, you're a quack. I said, I'm going to bring out 5 pounds and let's look what you lost. And then they liked me again. But I'm showing you this in relationship, okay? I'm showing 5 pounds of fat because obviously here are millions and millions and more than that, probably 1 billion fat cells here, okay? Molecularly, they're cells. They're fat cells. Now listen to this study. Fascinating, okay? The thyroid, okay. So when you have hypothyroidism, okay? And I'm not even talking about Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune. I'm talking about just your thyroid not working to snuff. It's not up to snuff. It's not working at its ultimate level. Your metabolism is slowed down. Now, I'm bringing you to the cellular level on this study. Okay? You know this. This is fascinating to me. That fat cells, okay? See these, okay? Made up of fat cells. Got it? There's 70% more insulin receptors in there. In fat cells. Okay? And when you have low functioning thyroid combined with 70% more insulin receptors in here, you know what insulin tells fat to do? Grow, grow, grow. Your thyroid slows to a crawl. Your insulin in the fat cells tell your fat cells to grow, grow, grow. Holy moly, no wonder I'm not losing weight. Yeah, because your thyroid is slowed to a crawl. Now, how do you get slow thyroid in the first place? Ladies, when you have too much estrogen, that's another fat growing hormone. You got too much estrogen compared to your progesterone, your thyroid slows to a crawl because T4 is not converted to T3. And T3 is what makes your thyroid work at its optimal level. So now you got a double whammo. You got fat cells, everybody does. But the more you have, the more insulin receptors are in there. And then you're eating carbs, and insulin is secreted even more, telling the fat cells, grow, grow, grow. Yep. It ain't calories. It's got nothing to do with calories. It's insulin inside of fat cells. And when your thyroid's not working properly, when you got hypothyroid, a lower levels of that functioning T3, your fat cells are growing. You see, guys, it comes back to one of the biggest things you can do is lowering your insulin resistance, lowering the amount of insulin that you need. That's why it's fuel and not calories. That's why an egg is much better for you, might be the same amount of calories as a chocolate bar. But it ain't calories. It's fuel. That's what dictates insulin. I found that study incredible. No wonder our lady friends have so much trouble losing weight. The odds are stacked against them. Okay? But it can be done. And you change fuels. You know me and fuels. You know me at the cellular level. Those mitochondria, they're looking for the right fuel. If you don't give them the right fuel, it doesn't mean they won't work. They just will not be optimized. The ATP, the energy that you're producing, will not be optimized. Anywho, interesting, huh? Interesting on the thyroid. Hypothyroid. Wow, low function. You know what I always called it? A sluggish thyroid. Okay, guys. Tomorrow is Question and Answer Friday. We always have, a lot of fun on Question and Answer Friday. Is it too late to send your questions in? I don't think so. Okay? I'm not the boss here, but I would say no. It's not too late. Send them in. We love answering your questions. Guys, okay, I just got to take a breath here for a second. I'm all excited. I love studies. Oh, I love reading stuff like this, and just stuff sometimes just blows me away. I get excited. Okay. We love you guys so much. Thanks for making this podcast such a success. It's all you guys. For Facebook Lives, tremendous success. And share this. Share it. That's what makes this thing tick, is you sharing it. So thank you very much, guys. We love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.